What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, we'll be previewing the huge, and I keep saying huge, but every game seems huge in this season, the huge game against Fremantle tomorrow late afternoon. So let's run that intro, jump straight into it. So before we do jump straight into it, always, of course, follow me on Twitch, Swoop Luke. Follow me on Instagram, Swoop Luke. And if you are a returning swooper, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're new to Swoop Luke, thank you so much for joining me. But be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. You get notifications whenever I post videos. It is going to be a crazy time. 20 games or 33 games in 20 days. And, now it's like 29 games in 18 days, whatever it may be. Lots of videos, mainly just previews and reviews, and 5 things we learned and stuff like that. Nothing too special at the moment, because who has the time when there's a game every 4 or 5 days? But anyway, let's get straight into this preview. So Fremantle's form and Collingwood's form have kind of been on the same sort of trajectory, not with the teams that we've beaten, but in the last 5 games, we've both lost 3 games and we've both won 2 games. Now, Fremantle's most recent losses against Geelong and West Coast, 2 premiership contenders, got smashed by Geelong in that torrential rain in Perth. They lost to West Coast by about 30-odd points. They beat Adelaide and they do beat St Kilda by that goal and then lose to the Gold Coast Suns. Fremantle haven't been setting the world alight since Justin Longmuir came onto the club, coming from a couple of years at Collingwood. They're currently sitting 16th, so obviously not the best form there. 2 wins of the season coming in the last 4 weeks. But you can never underestimate a side that just wants to win and wants to prove themselves. We've learnt that a lot this season, and I think Fremantle, Justin Longmuir is a great defensive coach, so he kind of knows our strategies and how we kind of work through our defense. Obviously, it's going to change in the year that he wasn't with us, but he kind of nitpick it because he did coach, assistant and our defensive coach as well. But like I said, Fremantle's form hasn't been great. Obviously not setting the football world alight, and they'll be back to prove something. Walters isn't playing, but Nat Fyfe comes in, who hasn't been playing for the last, I think it was last week or the last 2 weeks. So their form hasn't been great, but, neither has ours. So Collingwood's form. We got pumped by West Coast last week, and now that I think about it, it was a little bit of an outlier, seeing that we smashed Geelong the week before, kept them to a really low score, did the same thing to Hawthorn the week before that as well, and then obviously we went down to Essendon and then the Giants by less than a goal. So our form has been a little bit of a roller coaster this season. We are a good team, but I feel like we just need that consistency, and we just didn't show any of that consistency. From the Geelong game to the West Coast game was absolutely ridiculous. So for the last time we met, you're going to have to go back all the way to June last year. We were all wearing our, I think it was Indigenous round, because we were all wearing our Indigenous jerseys. And it was kind of a game to forget. Going into this game, we had won 7 games in a row. We were flying last season, and then this Fremantle game comes up. They weren't doing too well, and everyone thought, okay, Collingwood are going to win by 4, 5, 6, 7 goals because we had a better side. We were on a big winning streak. We wanted to get that 8th win. We started strong, and then we let Fremantle kick the next 5 goals, which seems to be just something that Collingwood do, not putting teams to the sword, letting teams come back. There was that Michael Walter touch goal that got him level that wasn't picked up by Ark, because we know how shit Ark is. But that was just one instance in, I think it was the second quarter. That was just one instance. So, yes, okay, they kicked a goal out of it, but we let them kick 5 in a row. So that is on us, not so much Ark. Yes, we lost by a couple of points in the end, but again, on us, not on Ark. In saying that, Michael Walters kicked the winner, not after the siren, but pretty close to the right at the end of the game. I think there would have been like 30 seconds left. a kick in by Nat Fife. Walters marks it. I think that was his second week in a row kicking for the game with pretty much the last kick of the game. And it was a heartbreaker. I remember watching that, and because we were up by like 10 or so points, or 9 or 10 points in that last quarter. Matera kicks 2 goals, and then Walters, does that, and it's a little bit disheartening. But that's just classic Collingwood. You can't follow Collingwood without being a bit disheartening. And I think it just goes to show that leaking consecutive goals and not putting teams to the sword is something that has been happening to us for so long. Like, I'm not going to bring every single instance up, but one that comes straight to mind is the 2018 Grand Final. But that's it. I'm not talking about that anymore. Which is the perfect segue to key areas and matchups. Key area is not conceding consecutive goals. We let West Coast concede 13 consecutive goals last week, and then before that, we let them kick 4 consecutive goals. So it was 4 goals to West Coast. We kicked 1, then they kicked 13. If you watch my 5 things we learned video from that West Coast game, those 13 consecutive goals that they kicked was the most kicked on us consecutively since Champion Data started taking data from 1999. So you can see that it was definitely an outlier, but consecutive leaked goals, like from my video, has been happening all throughout this season, and it's something that we have to stop. What happens is we get a bit of a stranglehold on the game. We kick a few, especially in that first quarter, and then we start missing some. We don't put teams to the sword. We just take our foot straight off the gas and then let other teams run over the top of us. Happened to the Bulldogs had a chance. Not so much the Saints, but Richmond, GWS, Essendon, Geelong kind of, not really Hawthorn kind of, and then West Coast as well. So it's something that has to stop. And the Bucks stops with Bucks. He has to, I don't know if it's a game plan difference or something, it's just, it has to stop. A key area or key matchup that I'm kind of looking at, not so much a matchup, but I'm keen to have Steel Sidebottom back through the middle. Yes, we lose Pendlebury, we lose that leadership, we lose that finesse, that Rolls Royce, if you will, but we gain someone back like Steel Sidebottom, who is a leader. He did his time 4 weeks for something so stupid. If we had him, we could have won a lot more games than we have, but he did something so stupid. He comes back, and not as finessed or as poised as Pendlebury, but fuck, he can kick a ball really well, can hit a target, huge footy IQ, and if we need him to play that half-forward role, because he can kick a goal, so if we need him to play that half-forward role, we should put him in that half-forward line, and it's just going to be so good to have him back. Another sort of area that I want to look at is our forward line, and not so much that we're shit-ass in the forward line at the moment, but I think a lot of our players are playing out of position. We see Will Hoskin-Elliott back on the wing, and then Jaden Stevenson on a wing through the middle or playing half-back. Without Dugowie, Jamie Elliott's kicked 1 goal in the last couple of weeks. Steve-O hasn't kicked a goal in the last couple of weeks. Josh Thomas as well. I feel like Steve-O just has to play to his 2018 self. Everyone wants to play in the midfield, but Steve-O needs to play alone in that forward line. So predicted ins and outs. We welcome in Keane, which is absolutely amazing. I've been calling him for so long. Been wanting him in for so long, which is awesome. I feel like we'll make about half a dozen changes. I think a 2 will come out. I think Wills will come out. Sai will go in. Shaz will come out. There's so many. I think Josh Thomas might come out. But then who goes in? I feel like Keane will come in. Sai will come in. Varks will come in. Maybe another debutant. Who knows? But it's going to be a very different lineup to what took on the West Coast Eagles last week. Obviously Sidebottom comes in as well. Do I think we're going to win? Yes, I think we're going to win. I think this might be a game where we end up winning by over 50 plus points. It's going to be a game that we kind of stamp our authority, not let those consecutive goals come through. And I feel like my big call is that Darcy Moore is going to play in the forward line and kick 2 or 3 goals. So anyway, guys, that's been my quick preview of this game. I really appreciate you watching it all the way. If you have watched it all the way, leave a swoop down below in the comments. Obviously, I also always appreciate you guys. And fingers crossed we get a huge win and a nice percentage booster. But until that game, Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. Swoop you later.